Okay, hopefully this is working, and hopefully somebody on stream can tell me if it's working once it pops through.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. Or an ear.
It looks like it was just a disconnect from some sort of audio setting, but I think it should be good now. We'll give it a second to see if it catches up and figure things out from there.
Yep, that's back.
Okay, cool. I don't know what was happening there, but we'll go ahead and start over, maybe. Oh, goodness. Let's see.
Yeah, I hear it coming through on my end too. I'm gonna mute that now.
Why do I not have video anymore? All sorts of issues today. I'm sorry about that.
Been a while.
Everything just likes to break when we take a break, I guess.
Yeah.
No longer allowed.
Learned we shouldn't take breaks. Who's up for playing on Christmas Day?
I will not be in the correct time zone. It'll be like 4 in the morning.
Well,
Actually, crap. What time would it be? Now I'm curious.
whatever time it would be, it just shows your dedication.
It'll be 2 a.m.
Excellent.
We start at 2 a.m.
You're an early bird, aren't you?
Okay. Very good.
Third
We'll
time's the
get there
charm.
eventually. There we go. It looks like we're finally on again. Sorry about that. Stream decided to break on me like 8 times. It's fine. I'm not bitter. Welcome back to another episode of The 12, our epic campaign of discovery and adventure across the continent of Corvair. This story definitely streams every Sunday live at 6 p.m. Central here on Javelin Entertainment. Sometimes, maybe. We're going to be taking a hiatus for the next 3 weeks. If you missed the last session, check it out on the channel page or by clicking on the link down in the description. We're going to hope that this gets started now and that we can... have a cool intro and get things rolling.
Last week, our portal jumper was popped back into the root chamber, dazed and bruised. While there were some questions, his strange transmogrification was attributed to his overall strange behavior, instead of intent to deceive. Questions still abounded, as our group was quite confounded by the ancient nature of the city and the dark corruption that seemed to be spreading. Slightly Sneaky noticed a stark difference in the strange metallic structure compared to the rest of the city, and that there were a noticeable missing piece from the center. But without any trace of their disappeared desperado, the adventurers wandered back out of the temple, retracing their steps to the city proper. They searched high and low for any traces of survivors within the city, but all they found was a small bird, which obviously had antlers because nothing on this island is ever normal. Not finding any people in the city, they decided to investigate one of the larger buildings and found it to be some sort of gathering place with extensive seating and a central field where a giant silver pedestal displayed a large magical brazier. What would any sane person do but decide to rip out the giant silver disc and pole, shove half of it in a to-go bag, and heft the rest out like a leprechaun with its pot of gold? But I tell you folks, that's exactly what Mr. Big Little did. This clearly on-brand action left Wish I Had a Cure for Stupidity shocked, but not quite as shocked as the sight of sails on the horizon. Our group gathered together and headed to meet the ship at the docks, at least the ones who weren't trying to drag a giant disc through the city streets, and sure enough, this ship had people on it, or at least a single people. What will this new player bring to the table? Let's tune in to find out.
And so when we had last left off, you all had seen this large ship with gray-white sails that had pulled into the bay here within the city of Elysium. And this figure in this large swooshing leather coat had kind of grabbed a line and swung down onto the docks where he had given a bow, tossing a still burning cigarette to the ground, and just with a quick, "Hello there. The name's Israel E. Maddington. You can call me Iz, and if you ever lose track of me, you can just listen. I'm sure someone will be shouting, 'Is he mad?' And you know right where to find me. But it seems right now that you are in a spot of trouble, yeah? Is there anything else that I can do for you all?" He kind of, with a knowing smile, just glances at the few of you who have gathered, and Cade and Roland have kind of been the first to come forward towards him.
Well, name's Cade. What ship is this?
Cade? Well, if you haven't seen this before, this is the Lioness.
And are you their captain?
Well, I am the master of the Crimson Sea, first guard of the Order Lucia. I am the Tempest's right arm, master of the sea, faithful lover to the one and only Morgan, and I am the god's favorite son.
Roland is like, as he's yammering, Roland is looking straight over his head, examining the sails for any sign of the ship flying colors and searching his memory for anything to do with the Lioness.
Sure, give me a perception check and a history check.
Alrighty. Ooh. Can't see past Iz's massive feather in his hat.
He actually does not wear a hat, actually.
Oh.
For you all, let's see, we got
And there's the history. That one was a bit better.
Alternate is.
It makes sense that with one eye, my perception would not be that good.
Yeah.
So, Sorry, go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, just real quick on those checks. Roland, you kind of scan across the top and you don't see any colors flying on this vessel. Just the single large kind of gilded or bronze looking lion that is stretched out on the figurehead. And at least to your recollection, you have no knowledge of a lioness as far as ships, but again, your knowledge is pretty limited to the books that you have and the area that you came from.
So, the Pride of Dreadhold, then?
So you're a low one.
I know of you. And, you wouldn't by any chance be interested in rescuing a few lost sailors and perhaps a few wealthy aristocrats that might pay their way, would you?
Now, I'm always interested in making a bit of coin.
Yes. Well, you see, there's more of us on this island than just our band here. We were the forward crew, if you will. The rest are around the bend and really looking for a way off this island, and some of them should be quite wealthy.
Is that so?
Flaming pork.
You know, I thought today was going to be my lucky day, but I didn't know it would be quite like this.
So, are you interested then in perhaps picking up a few of us vagabonds? I myself am a capable sailor, spent many years on the sea. I can be of use until you bring us to port.
I think we can give you all a lift. Yeah.
So, question. What brings you to this forsaken island?
Oh, to be honest, we just passing by a few miles away and saw the large smokestack, and he kind of points behind you all, and there's still kind of this heavy smoke that is filtering up towards the sky.
Is this one of the things that we lit on fire?
No.
No, I believe this was it. Did we look?
This is
Was this
probably
in the
the-
direction of the camp?
Yes, it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, that we looked at this last time. Yeah.
Austin, quick question. So obviously, I know of the Pride of the Dreadhold. Do we have friendly-ish relations with them? Like my crew versus their crew?
It was a relatively newer crew.
Okay.
And so there weren't much time to build any relations at all. But you can go ahead and roll a history check if you want.
But like no bad blood between my
No.
boat and their boat.
No,
Okay.
And no memory whatsoever for me.
not of the lioness, no.
Or the Pride of the Dreadhold, or like the names that he listed off.
So I will say that with that history check, nothing immediately comes to mind as far as boats or crews. But Roland, you do remember the word Dreadhold. And you would know that, at least in some of the books that you had read, Dreadhold is known to be the most secure prison in all of Corvair.
Lovely.
Yes. Well, the fire is, like I said, the fellow people that have been trapped on the island. I have quite a story to tell if you're willing to listen. You probably won't believe it unless you see it with your own eyes.
I do love me a good story. You know, actually, I've got a few things that I would love to share with you all as well. But if you're willing, if you're looking for just a ride, we'd be happy to let you hop on board.
Yes, I think that would be perfect. Unless any of you have objections, I
Are
think
those
this is certainly a wonderful way off the island.
Are those the two up on the hill who have got the massive shiny disc there? Are those they with you?
Yes, unfortunately.
There's only 2 of us?
Yeah,
The rest of us made it down.
Boko and Clyde had left and had been trotting down to join the docks. It had only been the
You
Shalt
specifically
and
said
Sindri.
Oh,
you weren't
it's
standing
been a
out.
while. It's been a while.
Yes. Yep. The Shalt and
There's
Sindri
me
are the
and the
only
water guy.
ones.
And just to make it clear, your captain is fine with bringing us on board.
I think it'll be all right.
Does it look like there's anyone else on this ship?
You can make me a perception check, Clyde.
Yeah. Now that I know I'm here.
Did he say, I think he'll be alright, or I think it'll be alright?
It'll be all right.
It'll, okay.
Clyde, you kind of scan along the edge and you can see a bit of movement on board in a couple of places, but you can't quite make out people. Well, at least not on the ship.
Mechanical question.
Mm-hmm.
Since I still have Clyde on my shoulders, does he get advantage on perception
Ooh.
checks? He's not used to this level of height. This is
Typically,
This is like elevation.
typically I would say yes,
I'm
but
about a foot taller than Boko because
yeah,
getting on his
typically I would say yes in this particular circumstance, but the ship that he's focused on is so massive that it's still well above him.
Ah, shit.
Boko,
I
I
tried.
think we're gonna get off this rock.
So you went from this angle to this angle.
Yeah.
exactly.
3 whole degrees.
Yes. If you wouldn't mind just waiting a small bit of time, we have some
He's quite
Interesting
proud of what he's
traveling companions.
If you all would like to get comfortable on the ship, we can wait and provide them a helpful hand, if you will.
I'm curious, how is Sindri getting this thing down the hill now that he's
Slowly, if at all.
Is he dragging?
The Shalt is like trying with all his might, and like with the assistance of the armor is like slowly getting piece by piece, and Sindri is just like pulling it as much as he can, and he's just grinding down the stone street.
And it's still aflame, right?
Yep, it's still on fire.
Awesome.
So, how
There's no
quickly can we get off
logs
of
or
this? Because
anything.
those two are making an awful lot of noise.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah, I don't know if we want to hang out here too much. I thought we were trying to be sneaky. Weren't we, Cade?
I'm pretty sure the inhabitant of this island knows where we are.
Well, like I said, if you'd like to get on the ship, and he kind of gives a whistle, and you see as there is a large boardwalk that is kind of lowered down, and then kind of a ladder kind of rolled out the side from up above the ship.
Yes, I think that would be lovely. And Cade's gonna go ahead and just like very comfortably walk on up the ship.
Clyde wants to go on that ship. He's pretty sick and tired of all the eyeballs on this island.
Roland is going up the ship, but as he gets closer and is at the side of the ship, he's looking left and right at design elements and trying to suss out purpose of the ship, cargo capacity, hidden weapons, anything like that.
Clyde's gonna step off of Boko, climbing up the ladder.
Just like walk up and then...
Cade's just gonna lean over to Roland and just be like, she kind of just like spots him checking things out. They're pirates. I hope you know that. And just like very quietly whispers that to him.
Oh, I'm well aware. I'm trying to ascertain how capable of pirates they are.
And if you'd like to just roll an investigation check for this, as you get closer to it.
I would love to roll investigation. Investigation loves to be
Not
rolled
bad.
by me.
So, Roland, as you kind of move over towards this ladder, and you kind of place out a hand towards it, this close proximity is the first that you've really gotten a chance to observe it close on, and it was just quick glances as this figure had been kind of drawing your attention more so than the ship. But as you go to kind of grasp the ladder, you can see that something is not exactly right. It's subtle, but things are displaced slightly. It has this kind of wave across it. What you can see is a fairly large ship that has a solid hull, so no sort of areas for cannons or weapons to be protruded. And at least from what you can see, has a fairly empty kind of two-masted setup. But as you're kind of climbing up this again, you have this sense of displacement that you kind of put together as some sort of illusionary effect on what you can see.
Okay, so it looks like a normal merchant ship, but as I touch it, I can tell there's an illusion.
Yeah, but it's very difficult to tell.
Well, just so you're aware, because I think you'll keep a cool head. They're new on the block, so to speak, but the rumor is they're all prison escapees, if that makes you nervous at all.
Nervous as to how safe we'll be with people who have been taken to prison. With a bit of a grin, as in implying they're not that capable if they've been to prison.
And Kate,
we all make drunken mistakes.
Kate, you're the first one up.
Yeah, and she'll just reply one more reply back of, yes, well, I think it also really depends on the prison you escaped, whether how capable you are. And I would assume very capable rather than not.
I wouldn't know. I've seen the inside of one once, and I was never fully processed before they got me out.
Really? Just the one?
All right, so Cade, as you kind of come up with Roland behind you, and Jasira and Tove kind of following after, and shortly after Boko and Clyde begin to climb up, and is down at the bottom, gives another whistle, and is pulled upwards, and there is just this wave of unraveling magic that begins to unfold as you all now see this simple merchant vessel just begins to open up into something much more extravagant, as this ship itself has these, rather than simple white sails, are these thick, scaly sails that look to me made of some sort of creature hide. The deck is this blackened hole with long bones that wrap up the side, and that metallic lion is still at the figurehead, but it now underneath it has some skeletal extension of some large sea creature, and tied to the other side are three massive beasts that hang off one edge, and you all come face to face with about 24 individuals, all with weapons drawn, and a couple of them behind these large ballistas pointed at the small group of you. And as Iz kind of lands on the deck with a smile, there is this massive blue orc figure that just kind of pushes him by his face out of the way. That's not for you. Good job, Mata. And kind of steps forward, and you see this massive individual with these rippling muscles and this long black mohawk, this thick black beard, who just kind of steps up and smiles. Oh, nice to see you all joined your friends. Weapons on the ground. Drop them.
Clyde's gonna drop his 5-foot pole.
Cade will take out, her saber and gently place it on the ground. Take it.
I thought it was gonna be good. No.
It is what it is. I take it you're Captain Moranen, correct?
There is kind of a laughter that just goes from all of those gathered there, and you can see multiple different individuals of all heights, shapes, sizes, and races that are kind of gathered around. But this large orc is just kind of facing off all of you, and just kind of steps over on the saber and just kind of slides it back, and just kind of grabs you by the arm, Cade, and kind of pushes you forward, standing next to the others.
You all drop the weapons.
And facing directly at Roland and Boko and kind of Clyde, and Jasira and Tove don't seem to have anything on them, so they're kind of a few people come forward and begin to escort them along with Cade further in.
Roland will very slowly take the rifle sling off. Go, it doesn't respond well to sudden shocks, and lay it gently on the ground.
Nick Clark put his hands up, take a little dagger, little halfling dagger out, and his whip. Put him down. Alright, guess I'm getting kidnapped now. I guess that's better.
Then Roland will reach behind his back, pull out a dagger, spin it, lay it down softly next to the rifle.
Yeah, Cade will take the dagger hidden in the small of her back and just gently also place it on the ground. No need to start a fight.
And Roland will unbuckle the short sword from the side of his hip,
Roland just unloading weapons.
pull it off, look at the hilt, look to the captain, back to the hilt, wince a bit, and set it down on the ground as well.
With that many weapons, we would think you could actually do damage.
He only needs the dagger.
Boko has his runic knife in that sort of sheath on his side, and he will unstrap the entire belt that holds the sheath, sort of wind it up reverently, and lay it on the deck of the ship.
Roland will hold up a finger and then reach behind his back with his other hand and draw another dagger and place it down on the deck.
Kay, do you want to warn Sendry so he doesn't do anything particularly dumb here?
And before you even really finish that sentence, you all are kind of gruffly escorted away. Not forcefully, but kind of moved forward, and kind of down, already beginning to be pushed below decks, as your weapons are picked up behind you by other members of the crew.
In that process as well, he's going to unmount the optic from the rifle.
Okay, are you trying to do it stealthily or just as part of it?
He's undoing the latches and pulling it off and just going, it isn't a weapon, it's a telescope, and puts it in his bag.
And as you are pulled deeper in, this this orcish figure kind of chuckles after you and just smiles.
Well, that's good. Because next, we're going to be asking for all your valuables.
And just kind of gives you a wave as you pass below decks. And there are more individuals waiting below to receive you. As you are passed through, and each one kind of holds out their hands expectantly, looking for gold, valuables, or other items that you might have on you.
Would Sindri and us up here seeing any of this?
So you guys are about 10 minutes, like a 10-minute walk away, trying to drag this piece through the city streets.
Yeah, but we were up above. This was like downhill.
So it's not quite that big of a hill. It's kind of a general slope in this direction because it does move down towards the shore. But it's not like you're on a huge hill where you have a giant vantage point. You would have seen them kind of go up on the deck. But you still see from your view, it's a merchant ship with gray-white sails. They walked up on their own accord, and you currently don't see. You can kind of see some movement on the deck when you look, but it's still a far off way. Shortly thereafter, you do see a figure kind of walking up towards you. And this figure is another large individual, probably standing about slightly over 7.5 feet tall, with this black armor and a massive maul on her back. This very heavy, burly female with this white skin
Is
and
my
white
maul
hair
bigger?
pulled backwards. What'd you say?
Is my maul bigger?
It's probably bigger since yours is made for 14-foot person. I would imagine
Excellent.
so. But it is marginal at best. This looks like it would be big for her, but she is a large individual. And she kind of comes towards you. Your friends are on the boat. Would you like some help with this?
Hi, I'm Sindri. Who are you?
You can call me
I
Go.
reach my hand out to shake hands.
And this massive mitt just grasps your entire hand and shakes it, and it feels like it is a crushing in your grip.
You're like medium sized. Those people are small. What are
This
you?
one must be the giant.
Yes. I see you can tell from my stature.
I saw you roll down the hill shrinking. It is a shame that your
Yeah.
size does not last for as long.
My dad said I'll stay big when I get older. In fact, he kind of doesn't know why I can get big while not being older. It's kind of cool.
Well, regardless, would you like some help?
Yeah. What? So, what's going on with the boat? Are you taking us somewhere? I don't really like boats.
Your friends wanted a ride.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. Look kind of down at the boat. Has your boat ever been hit by another boat that fell from the sky? That
No.
had tentacles?
No.
Okay. So that's 1 out of 2 boats I know of have been hit by one. I still don't like those odds super well. Oh, yes, you can help carry it. I could carry myself when if I got a nap, but I would appreciate the help. Now that I need it.
We will take it. You go down to the boat. Koba will take you.
And you see as this other figure, who is much larger than even the 7.5-foot woman, this purple devilish figure with long horns kind of comes out behind the building, and it stands probably close to 14 or 15 feet tall, and rivals what you are at full size, and it just moves and just kind of lifts up one of the side onto its edge, and you see as this woman kind of grabs the other, and they begin kind of rolling it between the two of them, and a third figure who walks up, who is kind of this gray, stony-like skin and this thick beard and almost afro-like hair kind of comes to you. He's wearing kind of almost like a toga-style robe, this drapey orange fabric across his body. And just doesn't really say a word, just kind of motions towards you and kind of turns and begins walking down the path as the other two are rolling this disc.
Who is the big guy? What is he?
Ko
Not a giant, I don't think.
Ko kind of looks down at you.
His name is Hazel.
Or what species? Is he a giant?
Who the fuck
He's almost as
knows?
tall as my dad.
Yeah, she just looks down at you.
Who the fuck knows?
I thought he would. What race are you?
You look at him and he just looks at you and just opens his mouth and you can see that his tongue has been kind of cut out.
Oh. You know how to write?
Did you what?
You know how to write?
Code. The woman just kind of shakes her head at this conversation as they are just already passing by you, rolling this down, and she just kind of continues to escort this large silver disc down away from you.
Cool. We can cover that later. That's fine. Ooh, maybe we can spar later once I rest. I'm a little small now. I think I'd get thrown. Ooh, how far do you think you could throw me? That might be cool.
And you and Thishalt are kind of escorted down to the ship as well. And as you kind of climb up, you are met with a similar reception as this large blue-skinned orc kind of looks you over.
Good.
Hey, I'm Sindri. What's your name?
You can call me the Beast.
And he just kind of, once again, just kind of reaches over and just kind of grabs them all off your back and kind of pulls it off and kind of tosses it off to the side.
The hammer too.
Hey, don't damage that. I made it myself.
And just before you can even really continue, he just grabs the other hammer off your belt and kind of sets it down as well and kind of pushes you forward towards the crew who begin to escort you down as well. And a similar reception is given to Thishalt, who is unfortunately pulled free of his new golden armor.
Wait.
Poor Noah.
Down in the holding
he has to be willing to take it off, if I remember correctly.
That is correct.
I mean, this is essentially forcing willing. This is not them ripping it off. This is them asking.
Take it off or be splattered.
Yeah, this is them asking him to take it off.
You never know. He just got it. He might be willing to take it.
Yeah, I imagine there is a pause, like, and then you look at the ballistas, and then you're like, maybe.
But the rest of you are looked over and one by one move through, starting with Cade. And Cade, you see that they go after asking for your coin purse. They latch on to your spyglass. What is your response?
Sorry, can you repeat that? I temporarily got disconnected from Discord.
Yeah, you guys have essentially been escorted down below onto the ship. And you are currently being kind of more or less skimmed of all of your belongings. And they at first ask you for any valuables that you have. My thing is...
Does Sindri see this happening ahead of him as he's going downstairs?
No, this would have happened before you had. This is kind of in the meantime as you two are catching up.
Okay.
But Cade, you are kind of the first in line. Are you handing anything over?
I'll toss them my bag of gold, but for the most part, I keep my belt on. And I keep my backpack. I'll toss them the bag of gold.
And you can see that one of the individuals, kind of a smaller, it looks like the skinniest dwarf you have ever seen. But he kind of looks over, what's in the pouch? And kind of directly points at the kind of intricate pouch that keeps your spyglass.
That was a gift from the Storm Fae, and I won't be departing with it.
Make me an intimidation check.
Ooh,
At advantage.
Not my forte, but I will try it. I'm not very intimidating.
He did say I
You had
did.
advantage.
Yep, advantage.
Oh, sorry. My
Since you tossed
Discord...
that.
My Discord's being shitty. That part totally got cut off. Better.
All right, and at least for now, you see that he kind of clocks it and takes note of it, but kind of grabs you and begins to pull you along as you are the first to go through, and Cade, you are escorted down another level deeper into this ship. As the lights get dimmer and dimmer, the deeper that you go, and escorted further. Are you doing anything or making any moves, or are you just being led forward?
I'm just gonna chill with it for now. I don't feel like making a fuss.
How many of them are down here with us?
There's probably about a half dozen right now, and there are more right above you on the stairs on the top deck.
Oh, this is a bad idea.
Well, I'm glad someone else is going to do it.
Roland is next in line, and they are already asking for his valuables.
He'll take off the pouch and chuck it to the floor off about 4 feet away from the nearest person of gold and say, "My valuables were upstairs. I put stock in what defends me."
Make me a deception check.
All right. Oh, wait, I'm proficient in that. It's flat.
Let's see. Ooh. You see a kind of thinner tiefling woman with a completely shaved head and a sword kind of already drawn. And what about that telescope you had?
I tinker with it. Its value is sentimental. If your aim here is money, you won't get any money for it. If your aim is to insult people in addition to robbing them, then by all means, take it.
If you insist. And she holds out a hand.
What's your name?
I'm sure you'll learn all our names soon enough.
I'm sure I will, and I'm sure I will remember. And he'll hand over the telescope. Optic.
All right. And Jasira goes through kind of handing over a few items. Tove. And Jasira, you are followed by Tove, and they immediately lock on to the various jewelry that you have across your body. And Clyde, you are right behind her, and you see that Jasira is just standing staunch.
With a glowing, not glowing, but like, I don't know how to like compare what her fist is looking like right now, but I should see some really spooky black tendrils. Like, I dare them.
Go ahead and roll me an intimidation check at advantage.
From the medical person in the room, what does a hand look like that's been necrotic for over a day?
This is not quite the same.
Oh, yay! Super! Should be scarier. I don't know, maybe it's wrapped up so they can't see how black it is. Fuck if I know.
There is this kind of uneasy equilibrium. You see that all of them have this kind of hunger in their eyes, and they are eyeing up that jewelry, and they kind of clock your hand and the magic around it, and they kind of, you see them all being ready, but no one takes any action. You see that there's also something else that is holding them back, and for now they leave you be as you kind of just hold this ready and continue on. And Clyde, you're up next.
Question. So you said
the first time I've been robbed. All right. Okay, you can go first.
Yeah, just because you mentioned that she picked up that something was holding them back, would that be an insight check to try to read more into that?
Yeah, you can do that.
Which I believe I get that at advantage. I don't know what the fuck that thing was. Where's that thing that says the words? Yes, incisive sense. Cool. So we'll do that at advantage. Hopefully that is better.
So yeah, Jasira, you can really focus in. You see that all of them want this, and many of them are kind of toying with the idea of trying their luck to see if they can get it off of you. And you see that they're all kind of playing along the weapons that they hold already drawn. But there's this kind of twinkle in their eye. There is something that they know that you don't. There's something here that they feel extremely confident. And it makes you nervous at what it is, because it seems more than just the numbers.
Okay, well then also, did you see the message I sent?
Yeah,
so technically she has all those other things.
Yeah, we'll say that the short sword that you kind of dropped off, but the dagger and darts are hidden for now.
Super. Okay, well she'll just kind of pull out her coin purse, and that's the only thing she'll give him.
All right. And Clyde?
But this ain't the first time I've been robbed. Takes a pouch of 10 gold. This is my personal funds. Do whatever you want with it. But then he'll take all the funds he got from Garrett. This I meant to spend on booze and frivolity. Please do so. Don't just spend this on some non-bullshit. Buy booze with this, and he'll toss the gold, silver, and copper to him. You want my soap? I got some perfume. I really don't have much.
Please don't take the soap.
I kind of got kidnapped like 3 days ago, so this is like the second time.
Clyde, you are face to face with this other small individual. It looks like a halfling, kind of got this half balding, slicked back, greasy hair and this thin goatee. Oh, we intend to use this for plenty of drink. But what's that around your neck? And kind of points to the amulet that you wear.
Nothing but an old family heirloom my mother gave me. Nothing but a trinket, really.
Well, we
Unless
do
you believe in
lot.
fairy tales.
Fairy tales can be worth a few good sovereigns here and there.
Really now. All this for a little amulet.
And he just kind of has his hand open, and you can see that around his neck there are just dozens of teeth, different sizes and different shape, that he wears in like 2 different rows of necklaces.
Clyde's gonna give him a big smile. But I'd rather lose another one.
Yeah, we might be able to arrange that later. And you continue on your way unabated. Boko, you are the last in this group. As you are looked over by a tall woman in this large red kind of open pants, this close white top and this big wide brimmed red hat, and she has just these golden long fingers that extend off her hand as she kind of just laces them across your arm. Now what do you have for us?
Boko's gonna purposely just relax his body a little bit and just let that scent that he carries with him seep out since she's so close.
Oh, he's gonna musk her.
And you can see there is instant revolt as she kind of backs away slightly and kind of scans across. Is there anything that she would see, Boko? I think the dagger was the main thing.
The dagger's the main thing. It depends on how familiar they are with artifice, because he has created his own bag of holding. It's not a traditional bag of holding, though.
If it looks like a bag, they're not touching it for now. They will ask you if you have anything, so if you give anything forward, but they have not opened anyone's bags, backpacks or otherwise.
Let me see. I don't think that's gonna help. Boko does not say anything. Yeah, I don't have anything to say or do. If they don't recognize or go for the bag, he does not say anything. He just sort of relaxes, stinks up the room a little bit, and just stares at her very unblinkingly.
And they indeed let you pass through. And you all are escorted down. And you go through that kind of 3rd level of the ship below, and one by one pass through these large iron gates that are kind of opened for you, and you pass through. Is there anyone who's doing anything or wants to make any actions as you are led through? Or is everyone just following along?
Taking note of the layout, he saw the general size of the ship from the outside, seeing if there are any indications of hidden compartments, any shimmers of another illusion, anything like that.
Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
Are we being put into separate cells or the same cell?
I'll get to that in a second.
It's dark in here.
Because that may make a difference.
You are being pretty heavily forced through at this point, Roland. And it is dim light. And anytime you kind of try to look around to the side, your head is kind of pulled off and kind of focused and you're pushed forward. And the more you kind of try to do things rather than follow along, the gruffer this is, as you are passed off to individual upon individual along this. And you can see that there are a good probably 3, maybe 4 dozen individuals on this ship. As you are all taken one by one in. And Sindri, you come down about this time as the Schalt is kind of behind you, and they ask you for any valuables.
Now make sure you don't tinker with those tanks. They have a lot of high pressure material in this.
We need to make sure that we stop.
Got those. I need to.
We need to make sure that we stop to pick up Octavius.
Maybe he's already here.
Oh, please no. I would really enjoy having one night on this ship with you.
Is Nick with us still?
I'm sorry, other people were talking. So
You're good. I just wanted to make sure, because I can't see you.
Yes. Yeah. Valuables? Like what? Ooh, I was told this is valuable, and I'll, put a couple gold coins on the ground. I don't know why, though. It's really shitty metal.
Hey, now I can make very good armor out of that metal. Thank you very much.
And there's just this...
I don't know how you made armor out of it. That's honestly the most impressive thing I've ever seen. This crap is soft. But I was told this was worth a lot of money. Or it was good for trading for things actually worth something.
I think I have talked to you about the power of steam. Okay, I'll stop playing for him.
And as you're kind of pushed through shortly after, they kind of take the few coins that you give them, but you are led through as well, Sindri. And at this point, Cade has kind of made his way back down with you and is kind of walking beside you. Well, I really do apologize for this. Typically, I like to give a better ride to you all, but well, we had been kind of tipped off to your presence, and as the iron bars had already opened, and these ones are kind of a greenish bars that open up, and you see multiple of the other survivors from the island already inside, as you were kind of taken over and kind of latched with these greenish steel chains around one of your legs. As they kind of hold you to the wall in this large open cell that has 2 kind of divided sections. And you can see a couple of the survivors who are there as each of you are led in and kind of hooked up to your own set of these manacles. And is kind of just kind of gives you a wave and closes the gate behind you and walks through.
Real quick. Can I make a history check on... I know that the new guys on the block, they're all escaped prisoners. Do I know what they usually do with their hostages? Have I heard any rumors about that?
Yeah, you can roll me a history check.
Roland is just sitting.
Yeah,
in the
they're too new. I don't know enough about them.
muttering, well, at least this time we still have our clothes. Kind of settles in.
Fair point.
I'm pretty sure I don't have anything behind my eyeball this time. You know
Well,
what? We're not on the eyeball island.
Roland,
We're actually moving up in the world.
Roland, you look in and you can see that Octavius is actually in this main section, and you can see a thick cloth gag in his mouth tied around as he tries to wave and talk through.
Oh,
Is Sindri down here with everyone?
Yes,
He'll
at this
smile
time
a
he
little
is.
more broadly than you would think he would in response to Octavius waving at him, and we'll just kind of wave back.
Make eye contact with the nearest prison guard and just like tip your hat to him.
Austin.
This is so much more roomier than the last ship.
What was that?
Another question. So, like, some pirates will hold for ransom. Is the status quo usually just to, like, what's the majority? Do the majority sell for ransom? Do the majority sell people into slavery? Like, of the pirate groups running around, what's the general vibe on hostages?
Yeah,
You
so
gonna be press ganged?
overall, in general, the whole point of these pirates that you're associated with is to make money. So the vast majority of them do prefer to try and get their ransom from these from any sort of hostages that they take.
Yeah. Okay, kind of figured. Mother's going to kill me.
This is a lot roomier than the other ship. I like it a little better. I don't see the water. Although it's kind of dark down here. Where are the beds?
The floor.
Ah.
And
Do you not have stone?
No, it's wood. Stone does not float very well.
See, another reason to dislike boats.
So I also missed if you said we were all in one
It's a communal
area
cell,
or
right?
not. Communal cell or
So it is a communal cell, but there are kind of two wooden sections that kind of split this area. And I'll pull you guys on to here in just a moment. But Jasira and Tove, you are kind of led over to the right section, and you see that all of the other masked elves are there as well, all manacled. And the rest of you are led to the middle section, where you see Octavius, as well as a few others, most notably the dwarven man who is sans one mechanical arm and looks very, very downtrodden. And in the far left section, you at least glimpse Jazargo, as well as the captain that you had met before.
Ooh. We gotta tell just
Everyone's just down here. We finally got a ship. Wasn't that what we were waiting for?
Yeah, but hopefully we were going to be on the other side of the bars.
What do you mean?
As far as situations go, this isn't the worst one I've ever been in.
No, it's better than like 3 days ago.
It's as bad as all the boats I've been on. So I don't know why they wanted to hold our weapons.
Most I've been on.
What if
So
they
we
get
don't
attacked?
fight
We wouldn't
back.
be able to help them. But if they get attacked by like a flying ship, we wouldn't be able to help them.
Yeah, they're
I'm-
expecting us too.
They're very self-assured in their ability to fight.
Well, that's cool. We get bodyguards. Sindri is still unaware that we have been put in prison.
Alas. Okay. Right. Probably going to be a while. Organizing ransoms for this large of a crowd is tedious. Kate is actually gonna like sit down in a corner and just kind of focus for an hour. And I'm gonna just recreate my star crystal, which I surrendered above deck.
As you kind of sit down and try to begin to focus, you feel that essence, that magic, and there's just this tearing as this magic that you try to pull out, that you try to manifest, does not come to fruition. And you can see sparks of the energy, but they are held back at bay, and you can feel as that green essence of the metallic manacle around you just kind of sparks and shines. And
Well,
you're sitting next to the dwarf, and he kind of looks over. I tried that too, miss. It's
It seems that it's made out of jade.
Yes, anti-magical shackles. How wonderful. Well, I guess we're just in for the long haul then.
Hopefully it doesn't seem too bad. And you can see is kind of on the other side. He's just kind of taking a seat on the other side of the bars and is just kind of watching you all.
Are you going to take names for people to contact to see how much money you can get out of us?
If you offer,
Ooh,
no.
we can send letters home? I'd like to send one to my dad. Although that might be hard to find.
Who is your father?
Don't answer that yet.
Huh?
What
Oh,
are the
Brunar.
options here? What are the options here, Mr. Mad?
Options?
Right. To get out of these and out of those, and he'll point at the bars. You don't take prisoners unless you're going to have a use for them. Otherwise, you just kill us and take our shit.
Well, we're actually hoping that you all will tell us what your uses are.
I'm a sailor. I could have told you that before you put me in chains. I could have worked for you.
This arrangement usually keeps us a bit safer. Should you all be interested in conscription, then we can talk about that and have you out of here right in a jiffy, choosing that you have some loyalty to prove. But those are the Dreadhold, or the Pride, perhaps. We have a bit of a selective membership usually. Though if you're offering some sort of temporary arrangement, we'd love to hear your skills.
I think that's what we came up to you asking for passage off the island for. A temporary arrangement where we offer our skills in exchange for being dropped at the nearest point of civilization where we can get a ship back to wherever we want to go.
Well, we're listening now. It's a bit unfortunate, perhaps, of the circumstances. Hope you understand. Pirates, after all. But what's your
I'm
offer?
familiar.
I'm perfectly fine if you just dump us at Port Kraz. Or Kraz, that would be easy enough, I suppose. Kraz, it is Kraz.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's gonna lean over to whoever's next to him and be like, "What's a pirate and what's a ransom? I've lost."
The Shalt just kind of looks back at you and hold that thought, Sindri. It's a bit of a difficult situation at the moment. maybe
Do we get provided snacks?
It's a good point. What is our meal situation while we're behind bars?
what would you
I get
like?
cranky if I don't eat.
We have quite a talented chef, and we've had some good success catching a few monsters on our way up. Do you have any requests? Any of you sailor lords? You should know a few things of your favorite meal out on the ocean.
Less eyeballs, preferably for me.
No eyeballs, got it. I'll make sure that we avoid the eyeball stew.
Can I
Pistols.
lean over past Clyde and look to Iz and really take a close look? Is he wearing any kind of armor, or the guards that are nearby wearing any kind of armor?
He does not appear to be wearing any armor, and at least on an initial glance, you don't see any other guards outside of him.
Okay, is this one over here a guard?
No, that's one of the elves.
Okay. The clothing that he's wearing, does it look well taken care of? Does it look well crafted? And then any of the people that we passed, does their armor look like it's shoddy or broken?
Give me just a general investigation check retroactively.
Investigation. Wow. Okay.
They are wearing armor.
It is a wide assortment. You were kind of passed from one person onto the next, and you didn't really get a good look at the quality. But there is a wide array. Some of them are wearing no armor. Some of them are wearing light. Some of them have pretty heavy, intense armor. But as far as the quality and how well it's taken care of, you can't see much other than is. And you see that at least his shirt is... It's a mixture. You can at least tell it kind of has that aspect of someone who's trying really hard to make something cheap look expensive.
Okay.
The suit from Kohl's. No, this is an Armani.
As for skills, I can do anything that you need on this ship, if that ever comes up. As for conscription, already taken. Sorry.
All right, so we've got 2 sailors. The 2 of you. You think you've got loyalty to us enough that we can trust you? We did just put you in a prison after all.
I mean, I don't take that personally. I've put a person or 2 in prison myself.
Ah, lovely. And what about you?
I've never put anyone in prison. I usually kill them.
You seem like someone who might take things to heart.
No, this has been much better treatment than I was expecting from pirates.
Well, we do try to be the most hospitable ones. Really, the others just kind of give us a bad name.
You, if I get my weapons back, I have worked hard on building them myself, so, sentimental value attached. And I'm not in slavery to you, then, well, I'll make a deal to work for you until we part ways. And I will bear no ill will.
You're an interesting one. I don't think I've ever seen anyone like you. You're kind of those, mystery men, right? In the trench coats and the hats that kind of come in, do the dirty business for somebody, far more important, but can fall and nobody knows your name.
I like that mystique. Do go on.
Well, it does make you absolutely worthless as far as ransom goes, so I suppose if you have other skills, that would become a little bit handy. These other individuals that we've talked to and have had to restrain in certain ways do have other values. What have you, the other companions here? And he kind of looks over to the small halfling and the assorted amputee.
Yes. Roland will just kind of speak up here and go, that one, point at Sindri and say, with the chains, that one's strong. If you need someone to pull a rope and hold it down and tie it off, he's your man. Learns quickly.
Oko is going to lean over and look towards Iz, and he's going to nod his head towards Sindri and to the Schultz. He's going to say, these 2 and myself, we operate in mechanisms and armor. We craft, we fix.
The old one with missing teeth makes booze.
Pretty good at it. I did the whole song and dance, this whole smuggling, making money thing way long ago on land. I imagine it's about the same on a boat. But if you really want some good alcohol, please tell me you got a still somewhere on this contraption.
So
He also makes very good moonshine.
Hey,
you seem like you would fit in marvelously with us. I think you have the most value out of anyone I've seen so far.
Does that mean you got a still? Or you got stuff? These ones here can help me make a still. We can make a killer still. I get everybody drunk. Great.
Yeah, don't work with wood.
It'd be metal. Gotta make it, you need some metal to make it right.
In that case, I've got it.
Yeah. Boko simply says, we will do whatever work is required as long as we do not have to sit with him. And he's going to gesture towards Octavius.
Keep the gag on, please.
You know, I thought that was a little harsh what they did to him, actually. I thought he was a rather nice fellow. And then this skinny, smaller dwarf kind of comes by. Wish we had one of those for you, Ace. And kind of pushes him and kind of moves by. And he just kind of looks after. Well, that was rather rude. Well, let me go talk to the captain. I'll give the proposals, and we'll be on our way. Give you a few minutes, hours, perhaps. I don't know how long it'll take for them to figure it out, but I'll let you know as soon as I can. And he kind of gives a curt nod and swooshes the large leather coat and makes his way off to the side, and disappears out of view.
As soon as he is out of earshot, Clyde is going to look back to the group. Shit, he's Thur Octavius.
Just now figuring
In front of Octavius, I hope you said that.
Yeah, I mean, Octavius is on the other side of Clyde, but it's not far.
And Octavius is sitting there gagged, saying, "Oh, I thought he was quite a nice fellow."
Exactly. He's going to take it as a compliment.
So can we hear everything on the other side of the wall, I guess?
You hear most of it. Again, it's fairly open in here. It just kind of gives a visual obfuscation. But yeah, just here you can kind of hear most of this conversation as it's happening.
I don't know if
The
this
asshole doesn't think she has any worth.
So are we trying to escape right now? Is that what's happening? Should we make a
Not
run
yet.
for it?
Not yet.
on water, sure. If it matters at all, my background does have ship's passage, where I'm supposed to get an edge on negotiating with fellow sailors about getting from point A to B.
Yeah, that is more than implied on just the things that you have already said.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure.
Yes, that is taken into account. But for now, you all are left in relative silence. The others, they're a mixed lot. At least the ones nearby you can see Octavius, who is gagged and trying to speak to the Thashalt without much luck. There is one of the dwarfs who just looks rough. He looks bruised and kind of beaten and just completely dejected. And then there are two nobles who've kind of sat quietly watching this whole thing, and haven't spoken up much. And the others are kind of on the other side of you.
So are we trying to escape or not?
Well, I think we settle in and hope that the captain is feeling generous and willing to use our skills. Because at the moment, it's either this or a murderous multi-eyed raven in a portal to heaven.
I greatly prefer being held by someone who speaks my language. Or at least one of them.
Yeah, as long as we're more valuable alive than dead, we'll probably be fine.
They would
At least he asked you guys if you guys have a chance.
Look, I'm going to be honest. I am a people person, and this is quite literally being more of a people person versus the whole Raven bit. I just am not really a fan of that.
Yes, but the problem is that does not make the decisions.
No,
All seem pretty
that
nice.
seems pretty low on the totem pole here.
Did you see the really big guy? He was as big as me. I wonder if he would like to do sparring. I wonder if he's stronger than me.
I'm sure you'll find out one day.
Perhaps we just settle in and take a short rest then.
It'd be great for a nap.
Did we do anything that requires a short rest?
No.
I got smited out of heaven.
Yeah, that's a you problem.
Yeah, just you. Everyone.
I mean, you used your big form or whatever.
Do you still have missing
That's not
stamina?
a
I
short
thought you
rest,
healed
though.
all that on the previous short rests.
Did we have a previous
Yeah, I thought we
short rest?
long rested in that building.
Yeah.
You guys didn't long rest since the portal, but you did short rest at least once for Boko
Okay.
in the city.
We did.
I thought we set that up as a long rest.
No,
No,
it was
we
just
didn't
a
have
short
enough
rest
time.
while you guys were waiting to see if Clyde's whistle caught any attention.
Okay.
So that brings a good point. Do I still feel like there's the power of the Green Lady with me? Since we haven't had a long rest?
So you currently do not feel anything. any connection there. There was kind of that latent energy that you had felt before, and at least for now, it is not present.
Oh, worth a shot. Try to get comfortable.
Is anyone doing or saying anything at this time, or are you guys just waiting?
Just gonna chill.
How secure are these chains? Like the leg binding chains.
Like if you like, they seem like standard manacles.
Hey, legs or arms?
Legs.
Oh, legs, not
Is
arms.
it both legs or just one leg?
Just one.
Are we being directly watched right now?
Nope.
That was going to be my question, is examining
And
guard.
this is a halfling-sized manacle, correct?
So all of them seem to be fairly adjustable.
They were so nice to attach us to the ship so we don't fly off.
All right,
Yes,
second
but if
question.
the ship goes down.
Did they take my soap?
No.
Thank
Great.
goodness. We can step it in Octavius's mouth.
So you mentioned these are like anti-magic restraints. Has like her fist changed?
Yeah.
Has like fizzled out?
So Jasira, you would have definitely noticed that as soon as that restraint latched onto you, there was not a pain, but something that kind of felt like stretching a muscle, but like inside your spine and up the back of your neck, where it's just this stretching, and you just watched as the blackness fizzled out and faded before collapsing into nothing. And that green in the manacle just shone bright, almost glowing.
I think while we're waiting for Iz to come back with potential news, Boko is just going to take a look at the manacles, their construction, and specifically the lock, and just familiarize himself with it.
Okay.
Since he's got
While
nothing better
he's
to do.
doing that, Clyde's going to start whistling sea shanties to cover up any noise Boku might make.
Nice.
Go ahead and make
But
me
he
an-
doesn't know any like new sea shanties because he doesn't hang out by the sea ever.
And did I hear somebody ask if they wanted to check out what the guard situation was?
Yes, guard timings. Is anyone watching us? Check out the shackles. I didn't give up my thieves' tools.
Okay.
Me neither.
So Boko
Yeah.
and Roland, go and both make me an investigation check.
That's better.
Investigation likes me.
I mean, that does make sense. So
Yeah, but like that's the lowest roll I've had on investigation today. No, never mind. I had a 5,
so
but it was dark.
Boko, you kind of focus on the manacles themselves, and they seem to be of decently intricate construction, where the lock around them is not anything to scoff at, but it doesn't look like it is extremely high end. It doesn't look like it's the most intricate thing, but it's definitely not a simple manacle. These are well built, well made, and they are there's something about them that it gives you just this unnerving sense, and you kind of start to piece together, this is not just a typical ship. This is not a typical hold, a typical cell for a ship. There's something else going on here, and these are too custom. These are too strange for what would typically be here, especially for the sheer size of individuals. Like there are plenty more of these restraints than even the 24 people that came off this island. And it sits weird with you. Roland, you kind of clock similar things on the restraints, and you especially, knowing with your background of sailing, that this vessel, it is made with this room in mind. The entire path down here, there was a direct path to this. It's not like this was an afterthought tacked on. The entire ship seems to be built around this cell. This massive cell meant to travel people. This is a prison or a slaver's ship.
Makes sense. If they are escaped from a prison, they might have grabbed one of the prison transport ships.
And looking out the gates that you can see, you saw one guard that was kind of talking with Iz, who's kind of off to the side. And you can just kind of barely catch him kind of walking around a few times. He seems to be kind of the very small, very slim dwarf with kind of a scraggly reddish beard, and some sort of blade tucked in to his belt. And you also catch a leg hanging out of one of the hammocks down just outside on the kind of edge of the dim light of the lanterns. There seems to be another individual there, but they are just nestled into the hammock.
Okay. If Boko hasn't, or at least once Boko stops examining the shackles, he's gonna try something out of just like looking out at the guard and trying to get some attention visually, but not audibly yet. See how long it takes.
You kind of wave your hand and kind of motion and move. There's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of do this.
As in he's ignoring me or he can't see me?
So this guard is kind of like moving in and out of your view, at least for right now. You don't see him. You see the kind of one individual in the hammock, but you can only see his leg. You kind of move, and then a couple minutes later, you see as the other guard kind of walks by and kind of catches sight of you. And what do you want?
Is it okay if I smoke?
He kind of just shrugs. But he sits down and kind of watches you for a moment.
That's all. I didn't want to do anything that would lead to someone busting in here with a cudgel.
Get to it.
Cool, thank you. And he'll pull out his pipe and pack it, and everything completely normal. Light it up and have a nice relaxing smoke.
He sits there on the box for a couple of minutes, kind of watching casually before he gets bored and kind of steps back up and begins kind of moving about.
That took a minute. And he'll look over at Boko, because he saw him inspecting the manacles as well, and I think knows that he has thieves' tools. I think they've come out previously.
He's brought out different tools. I don't know about thieves' tools, but he's definitely brought out multiple tools.
Okay. He saw him inspecting the manacles, but he'll just kind of like look over at him and just a eyebrow raise at the amount of time that it took for the guard to notice concerted movement.
Boko's not fantastic with his thieves' tools, but might be able to make something happen.
Same.
Are you guys attempting something?
Not yet.
All right.
This is a recon mission. We have to have a plan first.
Yeah. I'm gathering data. I'm gathering data on where the guards are, how often they're looking. We have another option running right now with asking for employment. I want to see what that deal is before I try fighting my way off the ship.
Agreed. Because they have a lot of very big people. This is the ship of the biggest motherfuckers I've ever seen.
There are some large individuals that you have seen. And it's probably 20, 30 minutes that go by. And Roland, the man next to you, kind of looks over.
What do you have in mind? Do you think you can get us out of this situation?
I think I can get me out. I know how to work on a ship. Do you know how to work on a ship?
I am born into nobility, and in a political world, that is all that I know.
Well, then there's probably someone who values your life more than their money. You'll be fine. I don't have anyone like that.
But if you could, if it comes down to it, these people, they are killers. They killed at least one of us on the beach, the other dwarf.
Did he fight back?
The large blue orc. We were trying to get the ship's attention, and it came. A rowboat pulled up, and a few of us went out to meet it cautiously. But then from the side of the camp, there was a commotion. The blue orcish individual, he had come out swinging. I didn't see exactly what happened, but the dwarf lay dead, and they had beaten a few others and grabbed one of them and drug her away. She was... she was powerful. These pirates, they are dangerous. If you...
Was it Morrowind?
No, Morrowind is on the other side, Captain Brazier. Yeah. I did not know this woman's name, but she looked to me like an arbiter.
Do I know that term?
Roll me a history check.
I know that term. Does Roland know that term?
Did we happen to see Sabine chained up here?
I do not know that term.
No.
Oof.
You know,
That term is as likely to conjure up an image of an energy sword as what it actually is.
it would make sense with Roland's backstory that out where he grew up, there is no reference to the Five Kingdoms. And there is clearly something important about this word to this individual. And he just continues on assuming that you understand the significance. And just... I do not trust this situation. If you... I don't know what you are capable of, but you all went out into the woods and survived. If you can help me, I would appreciate it. And I am someone who it is good to have favors for.
I am sure you are. And I would very much like to have someone I know who values my life more than their money. I will keep you in mind, whatever way I find to get out of here.
What was your name again?
Roland.
Roland. And Jasir. You was...
Jasir.
Yes.
And Roland, you remember this man as the one who you found out in the woods.
Yeah. His son had been ripped apart by hounds.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm taking notes this time.
Alright. And in this time, another maybe 15, 20 minutes pass. You guys have probably been on the boat for 40, 45 minutes. Those of you who wanted to take a short rest, your time is growing too close. Is there anyone who is doing anything in this time? Or are you guys just waiting until Liz gets back?
Does it seem like we've started to move?
Oh yeah, you guys moved almost immediately upon getting down into the cell.
Okay.
I realized you're right. We did take a short rest. I was looking at my hit points, not my stamina, which still have yet to recover. But as we were being shuffled down here, did we see Sabine?
You haven't seen much of Sabine. She's been kind of in and out of hiding throughout most of this time. But at least looking around, you don't see her currently.
Because if she didn't get captured, she's probably still on the island. Or she's stowed away and much more capable than all of us thought. But that's
How long do you think it'll take to get to the mainland? Anyone know? Because I don't like being in the water.
Well, you might want to get comfortable.
I think we should wait to get closer to the next mainland.
What?
None of us want.
How long are we going to be on the water?
As long as it.
I don't want to go to the island. I want to go to big land with.
Yes, yes.
Not island, big land.
Austin?
Yeah.
What's the most likely port that you would take prisoners to for ransom? Like, where would people typically go?
So there's not so much a typical. It's very much on who you have, because that will very much influence what is safe for you and what is dangerous.
Right. Okay.
But we're probably not going to Dreadhold. I don't like that non-committal chuckle.
That's my specialty.
We'll see.
And you all just kind of take this time as you're just waiting and kind of listening and waiting.
Does anyone explain to Sindri what is going on?
Oh, yeah. Thishol, do you have voice? I thought I heard you come in. Maybe?
He said a sentence, and then he's unmuted.
Okay. Well, Sindri, you are beside Cade and Boko as well. If you'd like to ask them about pirates.
Yeah. What is pirates and what is ransom?
Okay, here's the short of it. The individuals that sail the sea looking to make money in whatever way works. Whether that be
very desperate to be on the sea. Understandable.
As for what ransom is, it means that you hold someone you capture someone and you hold them until someone that person knows pays you money to release them.
Who did they capture?
Say that again, sorry.
Who did they capture?
Us. We are captured. That's what shackles mean.
I thought this was so we didn't fly off the boat. Like last time, there were no shackles and we don't fill up the boat.
These are here to keep you on the boat. These are seatbelts.
Yes.
So currently,
he used the hold for dear life onto the last boat. He's very happy about the shackles.
they're meant to keep you here until they can either figure out who to contact to get money from, or figure out if you have some more useful skill that you can barter your freedom for.
What do it cost more to feed us?
I mean, it really depends. You have a whole ocean full of fish. Catch it, cook it, eat it.
Huh. I suppose. Are we worth money? How much am I worth?
I don't know your family, Sindri. Nor do I think, from what you've told me, are they easy to contact.
No. Not from the water.
Well, there are ways to contact people via magic, over long distances.
I can call my family?
If you know the right magic.
I'm not very good with magic. Do you know how to call people?
I know of it. I cannot perform the spell myself.
Sindri's literally the only one that can because he's got the necklace.
Oh no, Kane has the necklace.
Kane
It's
has
in the
the necklace.
backpack.
Oh, damn.
I have the. Oh, you have the necklace? I wasn't
Yeah,
sure if I had
because
it.
no one trusted you.
No lie, I'm very trustworthy.
Well, no one trusted you to be, not just like, look at this
Yeah.
shiny thing!
You're very honest. There's a big difference between honest and trustworthy. Honest very definitely lends itself to trustworthy, but in some circumstances, it does not.
Yeah.
Particularly with dealing with pirates, because a dishonest person you can always trust to be dishonest.
So, are we trying to get out of the safety chains?
The safety chains.
That would be the goal, ultimately.
Wait.
Hopefully our entreaties on our skills find purchase.
The best way out of these chains is them taking the chains off of us. Other ways have complications.
Why aren't they wearing
That
safety
are-
chains?
Complications that are much harder to handle when you don't have your hammer.
I hope they don't drop it in the water. I made that.
All of them I use as a new anchor.
Oh no! I'm not even sure if it would arrest.
We need to get you some item that lets you breathe underwater. Just
I can help him with that.
yes.
You know how much happier Sindri would be with that?
We can make it happen.
I
No
can
worries.
actually help you with that.
See, told you we can
Fun.
make it happen.
Or,
Also,
you know,
speaking of making things happen, Noah, as you may have guessed, you no longer have your armor.
And of course,
It was good while it lasted.
there is no justice in this world. I'll see y'all at level 20 when I might not be able to keep it for more than a session.
Nah.
The Schalt is looking more sad than Dundigan is right now.
I'm sad. I'll recover, maybe.
You can borrow my armor.
At least you could just make armor out of random metal. Like, my shit is sentimental value, handcrafted. I'm never going to have another one like it.
To each their own.
Roland, if it makes you feel better, they literally didn't take anything from me.
I
Almost.
took your knife.
Yeah, everything else I kind of
It's almost everything that's like on you, on you, like is you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's a little rude. Like, hey, I'm gonna have to-
But he did have to musk to keep himself.
Also, if it makes you feel any better, you're still missing your gear.
Oh, good. Yes.
I feel like this prison is more than 100 gold worth of metal.
Ooh, the bars. Turn the bars
You know what?
into armor, and then
It's
we
gonna
can
turn
get
into an
out.
iron fucking giant.
Yeah. We're gonna Iron Man this prison.
Can you make armor for all of us?
Sadly, no.
Can you make anti-magic armor using your manacles?
That's an excellent question.
I mean, he could make armor for 4 of you. He can just only make Hydra armor once.
True. I could make the rest of you armor.
We just not use the hydro functions.
Right.
If we hang out here for an hour, Clyde's gonna whip up some wax and start rubbing it on the inside of his manacle so it doesn't chafe his leg.
Sure.
I get you.
And after probably a couple of hours, eventually Iz kind of comes back down, and you see him on the other side of the bars, and he kind of taps them and just, hello there. So good news. So we've made it onto the schedule, so it should only be maybe about an hour or 2 more before I get in to see the captain, and we can talk over everything. Just wanted to give you the update. Toodaloo. Hope it's all right in there. And makes his way back out and up the stairs.
Is.
Yes?
It has been a while since we've had clean water. Is there a schedule that we are on for provisions? I imagine if you want to get money out of prisoners, you want them alive.
Or, more importantly, when do I get to go to the shitter? Because you don't want me to go here.
Yes, no amount of soap helps with that.
Oh, there is a grate in the middle. We can give you a moment to relieve yourself over there. And you kind of look over, and there's this stained metal grate kind of in the middle of all of you.
Where does that grate go?
It's like right in between Boko, Sindri, and Cade at the moment.
Can I reach that? I'm manacled.
It goes to the cell of the people who misbehave.
Oh,
Oh, the two-story jail. The first story is the luxury apartments.
But yes, Ozzello can let you out should you need to relieve yourself. As far as food and water, that should be able to be provided. Let me see if I can go rustle something up from where you, well, see you in a bit.
Sindri's gonna look where this hole goes.
You kind of lean over, and it's just this darkness, and you don't really see much below, at least from the kind of angle that you're looking at.
When Iz came back, can I inspect him for any, like his clothing, for any sort of markings, any emblems, any amulets, any... I'm just trying to... He's the one who is willing to talk to us. I want to glean as much information about him as I can.
Yeah, roll me a perception check, since he's still quite a ways away from you.
That is fair, damn it. Average.
One eye.
So you can see...
Okay, he's to my right.
You can see that he does have tattoos across his arms. You can't quite make them out from this distance, but that seems to be really the only identifiable thing that he has. He's got an intricate beaded necklace on, and the just very nice leather coat, but they don't seem to have any indication of affiliation of any kind that you're aware of.
Is his leather coat nicer than mine?
Oh yeah.
I'll take that after I kill him.
It is probably the nicest leather coat that you have seen, and for the rest of his getup, it's literally like as if a homeless person had on like a new Armani like silk coat. Like it is that different of a vibe going on, where it's just like, how in the world did this person get this?
It's the stockbroker was walking by and really wanted that bottle of cheap booze.
Yeah. Yes. But again, the small thin dwarf kind of steps up and looks over at Clyde. You need to relieve yourself.
Not just yet. But it's good to know that when I need to, you're there waiting for me.
It's always worthwhile to try.
Kind of rolls his eyes and steps back out of view and just kind of goes up back over, and you kind of hear a hammock out of you just and kind of groan as he gets into it.
An hour.
How likely in your lore do Earth Kanazi shit coal?
One way to find out, I guess.
I feel like this is something I would know.
Yeah, it's not coal.
Damn.
What are these manacles attached to the ship with? Are they just bolted in place? Are they barred?
They are. So there is the manacle kind of piece, and then there is a chain that goes and seems to be not bolted, but just has the chain kind of attached to a metal plate that is kind of like nested in the wooden wall.
Okay. And then it's just the manacle that's the jade?
No, the whole metal piece has that greenish glow to it.
Interesting. Noted. But that's about it.
Can I try to get to my thieves' tools and just poke around, not to unlock it, but to ascertain how difficult it would be to unlock?
Sure. It's easy enough to get to your thieves' tools again. It's just one leg that's manacled. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
Okay. Oh my gosh, another 5.
So you kind of just carefully just edge around this lock, and you're not sure exactly how difficult it will be, but similar to Boko, you get this feeling where this is more than just a simple manacle. It's not like some crazy vault door, but it is not going to be easy.
Okay. There's a magical aspect to it that is belied by the simplicity of the iron or jade.
You're not sure if it's magical because these tools, you can kind of feel the intricacies of the lock itself. But the metal is simple, but the lock on the inside, the locking mechanism, it's more complex than something of this type, like a traditional manacle or cell would have. Probably given towards the nature that this was specifically designed for prisoners or slaves.
I'm tempted to try an identify ritual, but that would probably draw a little too much attention and be unsuccessful.
Being magic.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, it doesn't expend a spell slot. I'm not...
You just keep continuously zap yourself.
Boko is just gonna sort of like under his breath towards Roland say, I think you will only get one chance to open that.
That's why I'm not taking it now.
So, guys, what are the chances that when we gotta take a shit, he has to unlock us? Which means he's got the keys.
This is true. But there are more of them than us, and you do not have a weapon.
Not me. Sindri.
Who also does not have a weapon.
What am I doing?
It's a weapon.
I have been compared to a wrecking ball before, thank you.
When you came in.
Out of just like curiosity, which one of my legs is manacled?
It would have been
the detachable one or the slightly harder to detach one?
No, it would have been the one that looks normal.
Okay.
Dang it.
Technically, all legs are detachable.
Try hard, but yeah, they took most of
You
our
just
time.
need somebody who's
So we're gonna
experienced
take
to put
a
them back.
lot of effort to get them off. Start chewing.
Breaking the metal might be easier.
Well, I think we just post up for the long haul here then.
Yeah.
All right. About 30 minutes later, Is comes in, bringing in some water that he slowly hands out with the dwarf, who goes by the name of Zolo. And the two of them kind of hand out some water as well as put it some plates of various foods, making sure that the one that they give to Clyde lacks eyeballs.
Does that mean that the rest of us have eyeballs?
Some
Extra
of you
eyeballs.
do, in regards that it is a fish that seems to be baked or fried in certain ways on some of the dishes.
Okay.
But
Damn,
for anyone,
luxurious prison. I might stay here for a while.
for anyone who tries the food is pretty good.
We even took a request. No eyeballs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Clyde, you are served up what looks at first kind of like a bowl of mash with but you do notice that it has like some fruit in it, and you kind of try it, and it's actually a delicious oatmeal.
Oh, wonderful.
When
Clyde's gonna
Iz
dig in.
passes by, can I take the opportunity of him being nearby to inspect the tattoos closer?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
You know what it is for being a slave and despot? You're not so bad.
Natural 20.
I wouldn't think of myself as a slaver. I'm more of the go-between. You know, I help to facilitate things. Really, if it was up to me, I'd have you all in the nice suites in the up above. But you know, a captain likes to be a bit particular. Make sure that you all don't cause too much trouble. You see what you're capable of. Do a full investigation.
Yeah,
know who you are.
Feels not to be listened to.
I think there's a certain jaunty sea song about people like you called Shanghai Kelly.
I don't know if I'm familiar with Shanghai. I know lots of Kellys though. A couple of them were pretty good.
Anyways, as that conversation is happening, he's also examining tattoos, looking for any identifying symbols with that natural 20.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you kind of catch his eye, you see that he has tattoos across both arms. The hands are kind of wrapped, and he seems to be small. Half-orcs are usually larger individuals. He stands maybe 5'9", and he's not thin or but he's not muscly at all.
Exactly my height. Okay.
he is very lithe, and for a half-orc is just like definitely the smallest half-orc that you have ever seen. Even his teeth kind of barely poke out of the lip that he has. And you see these tattoos up each arm and also one on the neck, and then a long scar that kind of comes across the face. And the tattoos, at first they seem to be just geometric and kind of patterns, but your close eye does pick up that there is something more to the patterning. That there is actually a subtle nod within them, and you are not too familiar with the direct relationship of them outside of your I guess your usage of what's your past, but you have read of different religions and different interpretations of your gods, and I'll have to look and see what your people would have called it, but at least the more common names, which you do know with a natural 20, are the representation of what many people believe to be the same entity. These are tattoos for the Devourer and the Fury, which are two entities known to be associated with storm and tempest and wrath and dark natural energy.
So, Zorowai?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't know, that might be the only, I think yours might be a combo of it. I'd have to look at the notes that I sent you. But yeah, at least that one.
Embodiment of passion, so Shargon the Doombringer.
Yes. So it's both. So Shargon and Zorowai are kind of like two individuals that are very closely tied, and they, at least in the more common sense, with what you've read, form a pantheon known as the Dark Six. And these two are often referred to as the Devourer for Shargon or the Fury for Zorowai. And they are the more wide known terms for this, and the interpretations that he has are more not exactly wide known, but they are not direct symbology that you would be familiar with from your people, but that represents the same thing.
Okay.
Do you mind describing those symbols for me?
Yeah, sure. So they are kind of these imagine kind of like a hurricane shape where it's these blue and white circular shapes that are kind of like blue for waves, white for clouds, and this dark gray that are all just kind of swirling across the arm. And then there are streaks that almost look like scars, but are meant to represent lightning across through the center of them. And he's got one on each arm and one on the neck. And actually...
Are they radially outward from the center?
Yes, kind of. Here, I'll just show you this, and that'll help.
That's very interesting.
But yeah, as food is and water is passed out, you are once again asked if anyone needs to relieve themselves, but is kind of makes his way out.
And that was the something and the fury?
The Devourer.
The Devourer.
Yeah, which is an alternative name for Shargon in your culture. And Zarawai is referred to as the Fury in wider audiences elsewhere on the continent. Clyde, are you taking this opportunity to relieve yourself or anyone else?
I am in real life.
Regardless, I'll also show you Zolo, who passes, who helps to pass out the food and water, and is the other one that seems to be the really only guard on duty right now.
Well, I like your axe. How is it made?
This isn't an
What's the
axe.
thing on the other end for? It's not?
Nah.
What is it?
It's what we call a collie. Used as in axe, used as a blade, used as a boomerang, or attached to a chain.
And he kind of lifts up and you can see the chain attached on the bottom that's wrapped around his arm.
So if anyone tries to run away, I can wrap this, throw it around, catch them by the neck, pull them right back in.
Oh, that's kind of cool. It can come back to you if you throw it?
Depending on how you
How
throw
does that
it.
work with a chain? I feel like that'd make it not come back.
Like, you take the chain off, obviously.
He kind of just like mutters and continues on.
You've offended him.
But detachable chains are weaker. It wouldn't be as effective as the first roll.
All right, and in the meantime, Jasira, you have been placed slightly apart from Tove and just surrounded by the other elves who have just been kind of watching you. All still have their masks on, even in this dim light. Is there anything that you are doing?
Well, the entire time she was trying to overhear what was going on the other side.
Yeah, for the most part, you can hear. Again, it's a pretty open room.
I mean, that was really the gist of it. She might have inspected her own lock. She might have tried to look and see what she can see of the guards, but on the screen I don't see anything, so not even really a peek down the hallway. So I just assume she can't see anything. But
So she should be able to see a bit. Let me check and see. But yeah, there is not really any interaction. There's not too much of a guard presence outside of Zolo and Iz. They're really the only two that you guys have seen. And the lock does, like I said, look pretty intricate for now.
well, minus her not sarcastic, but her bitter comments of like, oh, okay, I guess I don't get to make my case. That's cool. Minus a little bit petty, just because she's not going to talk to anyone she's with.
Yeah, Jasira, you do know that neither you or Tove were talking to.
Mm-hmm. She already kind of understands the situation. Motherfuckers profiling, making her a slave by default. What assholes. But like, that's where she was. That's where her money is. So.
All right. Is anyone else taking? Oh yeah.
Does Jasira have like a slave brand or tattoo or something like that on her?
Not that you've noticed.
Okay.
Not that I know about.
I think I'm curious because like we would have.
Probably would have seen something.
Yeah, we.
All I know is she's.
On
Yeah,
the other side
kinda.
of the wall if she got talked to.
We did see her eat the soul of one of the doggies.
She has most definitely not gotten talked to. Neither her nor Tove were asked of anything,
Yeah.
but everyone else who was brought in was. And if you ask, the others kind of nod that they were at least spoken to slightly. And we'll mention
She
that none of
definitely
the
is
elves were
keeping
talked
tabs
to.
on her thieves' tools. So.
Is anyone taking any actions over the next hour?
Kate's just chilling, reading a book that she pulled out of her bag, just kind of accepting the situation for what it is.
Roland is very interested in what book it is, but is just kind of like doing the awkward.
Drew's gonna pull out a little stone from his pocket and like use the manacle to like trying to just carve little designs in it. And muttering to himself, "Oh, that's not right. Maybe if I don't know. If I do it like this, and just kind of quietly working on the stone."
On the off chance that we need more information, Boko is just going to reach into his pack and pull out a small mirror and hand it over to Clyde, who's closest to the corner.
We can't hear you, Clyde.
Clyde's gonna look at himself.
You look as gorgeous as ever.
Beautiful. Great. Alright, so Boko, why'd you give me this?
Look, see what you can find. If you can see the others.
Well, alright. Clyde's gonna stick out with his little tiny arms and see how far over this corner he can see.
You kind of hold out and you can see a little bit around the corner. You see that Zolo is kind of hanging out of a hammock, and there seem to be multiple hammocks in this area. You see that one other one has still legs kind of hanging out of it, but they haven't moved at all. You see a few crates in the middle, and you can just see the edge of a staircase that you, is the one that you were likely brought down on the other side, but the room otherwise looks pretty empty.
All I see is the one guard and the one sleeping one. I'm not sure what else you were wanting. Seems pretty cut and dry prison cell here.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. And then Boko will just cozy back up and wait until he hears his.
Clyde, now that he has a mirror, is going to start doing some... just trying to clean up his appearance a little. Been a few days.
And the footsteps that you hear are much larger than Iz's. And the gates open up and you see that large blue-skinned orc individual with the black mohawk who steps forward and kind of opens the doors as there are a couple other individuals beside them. And he looks over everyone. And he kind of steps over, looks at the elves, looks through the middle aisle, looks to the far end, and kind of addresses everyone as a whole.
All right. We have heard rumors and whisperings. So I will give everyone a single opportunity. Should anyone like to come forward and let us know if there have been any speakings of escape or mutiny, you will get to spend the rest of the voyage with the captain's quarters.
How does the poop escape? And Sindri points to the grate.
You just get this
Is it just like filled with,
stare.
is the bottom of your ship just a giant pile of poop?
Sindri, now is not the time.
Well, when is the time? It doesn't make sense. They can't go to the water because it would fill up the boat.
As to your question, Captain, I think all of us are just wondering where we're going to go. Whether we'll be required to serve on board or whether we'll be ransomed.
So none
I'm
of
interested
you...
in the magic at the moment, but I don't... Actually, yes, mostly the poop magic.
Sindri.
Conversations that have involved the word escape have largely been centered around the fact that it is obviously impossible from this vessel and that we need to work with you to figure out how to go about our lives.
Roland, the woman near you in the long black dress kind of sits up.
He's lying. He's been looking at the locks. So is this one. I think they have some sort of tools. Yes. They're friends with the other, and she kind of points. The one, the stone boy, the two to his side, the small halfling. They've all been looking, examining, trying to see what things are going on here. I think that they are friends with two of the elves over on the other side too. They explored the islands. Please, just get me out of here.
Yes, we're
Good lord, my lady.
That we don't want to try to escape.
Been here like 3 hours. Had to
The
figure out
conversations
something.
have been that
I do have to say,
we are not
wonderful
going to try to
accommodations.
escape. That is exactly what I just said. I am not lying. I take great offense at you calling me a liar when I did not lie.
She looks back at
I
you
looked.
with a glare.
Please, just get me out of here. This place is rank. These people are just vile and are going to get us all killed.
And
Whoa, hold up just a second. I think
Angry
that
waiter.
perhaps we're just thinking about this all wrong. I'm not really sure why you're calling us out for this kind of thing, but I think that we can all make this work together well. Really?
She's a noble bitch that's never worked a day in her life. That's why.
Hey, that's not very nice to start out with. Now, first of all, I don't believe I caught your name.
Silence.
Okay.
the orc walks over to the woman and kind of pulls out a key and reaches down and unlocks the shackles at her feet. And she kind of smiles and kind of straightens.
Like I said, you will be spending the time with the captain,
And kind of reaches around her neck and just snaps it and pulls out, kind of twisting out the spine and just drops the body to the ground.
Ah!
I didn't say how much of you would be.
And just begins to walk towards the entrance and kind of motions over.
Zolo, release those. Have them follow me.
And makes his way over towards the stairs, and the dwarf very quickly comes in and unlocks each of your manacles that were pointed out and kind of moves over. Which of the two of you what are he talking about? And he moves over towards where the elves are. And you see
Cheryl will kind of just wave her hand.
all right. And kind of Tove raises it as well, and he just unlocks the two of you as you are all kind of pulled free and begin to just be escorted, kind of pulled together and follow along, kind of moving up these stairs behind this massive orc.
When Zolo, when the orc has turned his back and Zolo has moved around to unlock people, Roland will kind of look over towards Jasir with a raised eyebrow, give him a very brief nod, and then turn back to looking innocent.
Who'd you look to?
The man beside
Jasir
him,
to my left, yeah.
who had talked to him
Who
before.
had said, like, you know, if it comes to it, are you going to help me get out of here? And I told him, however I get out of these chains, I will keep you in mind.
And Roland, you kind of step over the remains of this woman who is just bleeding out into this grate as the blood is just pouring down. And you step free of the chains and move past the gate.
Sometimes even stitches don't help snitches.
I must admit, it's most unfortunate. I can't believe she was about to throw us all under the bus.
I can.
You know,
Hit the nail on
I
the
always thought the saying was snitches get ditches, but I guess it's true in this case.
Clearly she has...
These spinification itches. I don't know. That was quite impressive.
I'm trying to sweet talk the orc. You're gonna be next.
Oh, he's saying that to like the rest of the room as he's just like looking at the body and like remembering the single move that, and he's just like, I know some strong people. I've never met anyone who was able to do that.
Perhaps it was a good thing we didn't try to escape.
And see, that's what I'm saying. Why in the world would we ever think of something like that?
Well, I'm gonna follow the Vega orc.
As will I. Let's go that way.
Charge.
You all.
At least your body, half of it voluntarily comes apart.
Your point.
You all are led back up through the different sections of the ship, and eventually to the deck where the captain's cabin resides at the back portion, and the door is opened and you see this elegant room inside, and within it you see a table with multiple seats, a wide circular table, and at it there are another two individuals. One, that's the wrong room. One who is just a kind of middle-aged man, who sits with his feet kind of crossed at the table and kind of leaning back, his hair pulled into these tight-knit braids behind his head, and he kind of twirls this glowing dagger upon the table. And you can see these wave-like tribal tattoos up each of his arms. The other is a massive gray-skinned humanoid with a white beard that is pulled into braids and blue neck tattoos, and a long white top knot that falls down behind his head. The two are sitting there, and the human man kind of motions, "Why don't you all take a seat?"
Okay.
All right.
And we'll look around and find one that is to the side, but like if it's rows of chairs, he's in the front row, but all the way to one side, basically.
Yeah, like, is this a conference room style, or what are we doing here?
It is, yeah, it is a large, think Knights of the Round Table. Like, it is a huge circular table, and there are just chairs all the way around it, and these two are at the far end, at the back of the room. Two
but
chairs next to each other.
He isn't taking the, like, oh, I'm going to sit right next to the leader, but he's not taking the bitch end.
That works.
Is there a bitch end with a circular table?
Probably the farthest away from them, so the exact opposite side.
Probably.
No, but that's when you're looking at them, so you have the most confidence. For
it's
that.
like,
gotta be like
two off from that.
So
If you're perpendicular with them, you just can't do it. It's just you.
Oh.
It's where you can only give the side
You 90-degree looking bitch. You ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah, circular table. So I'm going to take the 90-degree angle where the
Your good eye.
The captain is to my right on my good eye.
You can tell if he likes you if you actually sit within his field of view.
There you go.
No, yeah, and you can tell if he trusts you. He sits where you aren't in his field of view.
So as you all, go ahead, Kane.
I was just gonna say, Kane, knowing that some other people in this group might get us in trouble, I'll take the position directly across from the captain on the circle.
I will sit as close to the captain as possible.
As will I.
On this table, we're not going to sit next to each other?
So there are two...
I'll take Roland's blind.
There are two individuals at the far end of the table. There is the human man kind of sitting with a leg up, and right next to him there is this massive gray-skinned individual. Boko, which chair are you taking? The one beside the man or the one beside the gray-skinned guy?
Beside the man.
right, and so Thashal, are you
yes,
taking?
I'm taking the other one.
Okay, so you guys just book in these two individuals, and the man, as he's kind of swirling the dagger, he moves his hand, and the dagger just stays vertical, still spinning, and he just kind of grabs 3 of these green shackles, tosses one to Boko, one to Roland, and one to Jasira, and reaches forward to the middle of the table where an hourglass is, and just flips it over.
Huh.
How fast is the hourglass going?
Yeah, is this a 1 minute or 1 hour?
Are these shackles locked?
It doesn't seem big. Yes, the manacles are locked. They look exactly like the ones below.
Quick, what are you all doing? Unlock them.
Oh.
Right?
So-
I would assume that's what this is.
Jasira will slowly pull out her thieves' tools, put them on the table, and I guess begin trying to pick the lock.
All right, roll me a sleight of hand check.
Roland
Or
will
thieves'
also
tools if you're
pull
trained
out
in
his
it.
thieves' tools and put them on the table, and we'll
she
wait
should be
to see the
proficient.
result of Jasira's lock.
Is that just dexterity?
Are you proficient in thieves' tools?
I thought so. But I don't remember how that works. In the very least, it's a +3, but I have it as a proficiency, so I have it as a +5.
If you have it as a proficiency, then it's the dexterity plus your proficiency bonus.
That's what that should be.
Yep. All right, Jasira, you work on it for a little bit, and so far it's difficult, but you're making some progress. Roland, Boko, are you taking anything? Or are you leaving
Are
yours for
these
now?
the same shackles as what we were shackled with?
Yep.
Okay.
Has anything else been said besides tossing shackles on the table?
Nope.
Jasira's just gonna kind of keep her look up and look at the people that put the shackles in front of her, and then just continue trying to pick the lock. Trying to get a quick read on them.
I'm waiting to see what Boko does and what the reaction is around the rest of the table. But I have put my thieves' tools on the table as like, yeah, I have them.
Mm-hmm.
Since that's
Boko's gonna give it a shot, but he pulls out 2 sets of tools.
Okay.
And so the first one is a very recognizable pair of thieves' tools, and he'll work on trying to get this thing open, see if he can go for it. It could be better.
Okay.
Yeah, Boko, you start working on it, and you immediately are like, shoot, I knew this was going to be tough, and this is harder than I thought. And you're struggling to even get started.
And these are jade,
sorry.
the jade ones?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what was that roll?
Seeing everyone else like digging away at it, Roland is just going to. His thieves' tools are very visible on the table. He picks up the manacle, looks at it, looks over at the gentleman who tossed them, and just says, "These look very similar to what were down below. I examined the one around my leg with that set of tools, not intending to escape." Intending to determine whether or not it was possible, and I ascertained that there is more to this lock than what a physical set of picks can get to. And I have no interest in discovering what that element is. And he'll set the manacle down on the table next to the thieves' tools and not attempt.
Okay. Jasira, are you still working at it?
She will, but I don't think she will actually unlock it if she finds the trigger.
Okay.
She'll kind of use the extra room in her attention span just to keep eyeing the individuals.
Okay. Roll me
Just
another.
trying to read the room.
Roll me another thieves' tools check at advantage.
Sure.
Yeah, Roland at this point is just eye locked dead at the person at the head of the table.
Got better.
So there's
Great.
2 people at the head of the table. Which one are you looking at?
The person who tossed him the manacle.
Okay. So yeah, Jasira, you find that you thought you were making progress, and now it's a little bit slower than it was at first, and you're kind of struggling here. Boko, are you doing anything different, or still working away at it?
Boko's going to just leverage the inspection that he did below deck, see if he can get these open. He's a little less cautious than Roland and Jasira.
Okay.
Roland is also pulling a power move of I could unlock it if I wanted to, but get hit by whatever is on the other side.
Old strategy, but I don't have the ability to bluff, so...
Yes, I'm totally with you there.
It helps with having only one eye so the other one can't twitch.
Sure.
I mean, Jasira never even pulled out her tools. She just was like, I know I have tools if I need them. Fine. Suspicious.
All right, so with that, Roland, why don't you go ahead and roll me a persuasion or deception, whatever you feel is more appropriate for this. And Boko,
why did you say appropriate? Because I told everything exactly the truth.
Then persuasion. I'm not sure.
That's a -2.
Oh, sorry.
Is your
I was still going to point out you have inspiration.
It is also, it's up to you. If you want to word this in a way where it is a deception, you can attempt that.
No, I absolutely don't want to word this in a way that it's a deception, but the deception has an extra 2 to it.
And Boko,
you have inspiration.
You do.
That was an above average roll. I'm not rolling inspiration.
That's fair.
Thank you, though.
Boko, if you would like to go ahead and also roll, if you're still trying with the Thieves' Tools at advantage.
Absolutely.
Is there, what are the facial expressions across the table? Are they all neutral?
The two at the far end of the table who were in here at the beginning have been completely passive. They haven't reacted really at all.
Okay.
And Boko, as you kind of fiddle with this for a little bit longer, it's struggling at first, but then it's just like a bit of luck, and it gets the second to last tumbler, and with a click, you feel as it loosens up. Are you going ahead and opening it?
Yep.
All right, you pop it open, and you hear this kind of hissing sound, but nothing else happens, and immediately the man kind of turns the hourglass over, kind of stopping it where it is, and examines the sand on both sides. And he kind of looks over at the other. What do you think? And you see, again, this massive individual, probably about 9, maybe even 10 feet tall, with these blue tattoos across his face. And he kind of leans over and reaches across the man to where Boko is and kind of grabs the manacles, kind of looks over them.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Because it might change what happens. As soon as they're open and Boko sets the thieves' tools down and begins reaching for his other set of tools and going back at the lock.
So you see as he goes ready to reach for it and then stops, kind of looks at the hourglass, and then he reaches over in front of the man and lifts up the hourglass again.
Boko is going to try something. I don't know if it's going to work because these are jade, but he is going to reach these very fine tools into the lock, and with just a spark of energy, he's going to try to infuse just a little bit of magic into the lock, but it's more of a like sticking a sticker onto something. He's not trying to enchant it, and he's going to try to just tinker it so it emits a sound. And he is going to try to get it to emit a whistling noise akin to the sea shanty that Clyde was whistling earlier.
Go ahead and give me an intelligence check.
It's average.
You very quickly work on this, and you kind of get, again, almost like sticking just a small piece inside the lock and attaching it to it. And it's quick and messy, and what comes out is not so much a tune as just this whistling noise, but there is something that is distinctly there. And upon hearing that response, is there anything that you're doing after that?
No, he just pulls his tools out and sort of slides them forward and just kind of sits there like, okay, I'm done now, what?
And once again, the larger individual just leans over the hourglass, now looking at how much is left, and kind of inspects and kind of listens, and you see him kind of squint at the noise.
It's not bad. The rest of you all travel together. Yes. You were the group that led toward the island. Or to the city, perhaps.
We've been thrown together, yes, on this island.
It's been circumstances that brought us together.
Indeed, they did. The island a bit of an oddity, but since then, all good times.
What are your thoughts of each other? You think you could work together?
Oh, these folks? Oh, absolutely. Love the group.
Fairly capable.
Yeah.
Cade's a little
Sounds
cold,
capable.
but besides that, they seem alright.
We all have our strengths. Seems wise.
But what do you
I would
need
rather
to know
work
about
with this
that
group
city?
of people than with strangers.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I'd rather work with them than Octavius.
No, yes, Octavius.
We all furiously start nodding.
Do you have something in mind that requires a particular group?
We've got some things that we're working on, and took interest when a storm fae came aboard our craft.
I see. Yes, most unfortunate circumstances. Was not anticipating being crash-landed on an island by a flying tentacle ship.
We wouldn't have believed that had we not seen the evidence. But it is strange, nonetheless. But an opportunity. We don't normally work with those who are not, from our particular background. But times
Understandable.
change. We may have some need for you, and you all were looking to get off of that, particular death trap. I think we can work something out.
We
If
found
the captain
our way
and-
around that place quite well. I'm not saying I'd want to build a summer home there, but the trees are quite lovely.
There's a reason we use that island for mutineers.
And Cade, suddenly it hits you what you've been missing about this island, and you are just like, oh, of course, that's what it's been nagging at me.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely like anyone paying attention, there's a little light bulb like, oh right, I haven't been to that one in a while.
If the captain agrees, we may have some work for you should you prove that you can work with the rest of the crew.
And in return, we get our freedom for doing a job for you.
As well as some coin and favor earned with the Pride of Dreadhold.
I do like coin, and favors are always useful.
I'm rather a fan of Pride myself, so it sounds like we've all got great things here.
What is the task?
What do you think of them, Moranin? Do you think that the fresh face is capable?
And for the first time, you see this light in the back dim corner of the room, and there's another chair, and you see an individual who's kind of smoking a pipe and has lit it up. And you see this woman who kind of stands up, kind of swaying forward, not really wearing any armor, but this just marking across her kind of shaved head, and she steps forward with this just presence. And up until now, you've seen multiple individuals who very easily could have been the captain, and somehow instantly this woman and her presence just shatters them all and is like, oh, this is who it is. And as she kind of steps up next to in between probably Sindri and Tove, and kind of leans against the table, she kind of spreads out her arms. You don't think that you all are capable yet, but we'll see what you can do. You can let them have the run of the ship. We'll see how they handle themselves on the way to our destination. If they do well, then we'll give them the details.
I like your swords.
She kind of pulls them out of their scabbard where they are at her hips and kind of flips them around, and they are these long hilted thick blades, and kind of places them down next to you, Sindri. A nice craft.
Oh, that's so pretty.
I'm glad you could appreciate
Sindri's also going to kind of like try to puff himself out a little to look a little less small.
Blades look like they're well maintained, though.
Oh, everything about her looks rugged, but these blades are exquisite. They have been polished and sharpened probably every day. And you can see that they do have little runic markings up the blades as well before she quickly kind of spins them and puts them back away.
What kind of runes were those?
If you have questions, save them for
I do.
after you have earned more than just our respect.
You. She looks over at Boko.
Your time is good, but it'll need work.
Boko sort of turns his face to her. I work better with metals, crafts. This is a hobby I picked up.
You're a metal worker? I really don't think I'd gathered that till now.
If you just pick this up, then a quick learner is perhaps all that we need. You all should be able to do well enough, from what I have seen. I am disappointed that you did not try a bit more in the time that we gave you, but it is understood that you at least had a knowledge of your situation.
He's got performance anxiety.
My strengths are in assessing a situation and strategizing. And the strategy was to see how conversation played out, as ill-adept as I am at that particular pursuit.
Well, what we need from you for now is action, not strategy. You can leave that up to us. If you can prove that you are able to do action and can perform, we will not have any issues. My name is Moranen. I'm commonly known as the Lioness around these parts. I'm sure that Sheen has heard of us, and she can fill you in on the details that you need to know. This is my first mate, Corwin, and the man kind of gives a nod. And the head of the ship, Valaris, and the larger man kind of also gives a slight nod of his head. They will be in charge of the crew for most day-to-day actions, and should you need anything that you cannot find from anyone else, find one of them. For now, you all may go. Prove yourself over the next few days, and your weapons and belongings will be returned to you.
Very well.
And you. And she kind of points directly at you, Cade.
Yes.
I hear that you have not come from the tentacled ship from the sky. How did you get to the island?
I was sailing by with my companion, and I'll point towards Sindri. Unfortunately, while we were not on the ship, the tentacle ship did crash into the ocean very near to our vessel, and we were crash landed on the island with the group.
Interesting.
Poor timing.
I'm perhaps more interested than anyone else to see your potential cascade. You all may go.
Roland will stand. Brief nod in her direction, and then start edging towards the door.
Are the rest of you following?
Yeah. I'll get up and walk out on deck, and then if none of the people from inside the room exit, I'll look for the person that looks most in charge on deck to ask what needs to be done.
Roland is, while Kate is doing that, Roland is going to exit and then hang near the door to see if he can catch any auditory feedback from inside of conversation after we leave.
Okay.
Jasira had the same idea.
Clyde's gonna go with Kate because he wants to figure out if this ship has a still.
You know what?
There's gotta be alcohol on this ship.
I'm going to do the same, because if I don't have my mech or my steam mech with me, the least I can do to prove myself is go fix something.
As Boko stands from the table, he's going to make a move to reach for the shackles that he unlocked. And he's going to try to take it with him if they'll allow him.
They clearly see you and don't do anything to stop you.
Yeah. Boko's going to grab one of the shackles and take it with him.
It does only have just a single manacle on it, and it's just a chain on the other end. So
That's
keep that in mind.
Practice.
Sindri sees that as well and grabs one of the shackles as he leaves.
Are you grabbing the one in front of Jasira or Roland?
Whichever one's next to me. Or
Probably
Jasira.
Jasira.
Such a good pirate.
Yeah, so Sindri just kind of grabs one off as well, just like do.
So he grabs it.
Right.
Did do anything?
Boko's got to practice.
And then reaches for the third one. And
Oh no! See, oh no, that makes a dead pirate. Greediness.
Yeah, and as you kind of reach for the third one, it is that the man who kind of already has it grabbed and kind of slides it towards himself and just...
Greed will be your downfall here if you don't catch that. Head on out to the dock. Or to the deck.
To the top. Oh, we already made it.
Oh, wow, alright!
I thought I could make something, and more material. Material is always better for making things.
Good luck.
And he just looks at him. with childlike hope at the other manacle he's holding.
Yeah, he's just already is kind of like shooing you away.
Oh. And hops off the chair that's way too large for him and walks out with everyone else.
Alright.
Rocco, do you really need the other one?
So most of you all kind of head out. Jasira and Roland, you are kind of the last ones there. Roland, there was no recognition between you and this woman, but you do definitely recognize the tattoo that she has. Outside of that, who she is, you have little to no idea. The name doesn't really ring a bell for you. But you do kind of clock that and kind of walk towards the edge, and just before you head out, you can see that the three of them kind of come together and begin to share words as the lioness kind of pops up onto the table and sits down facing the other two, who all kind of chat in quiet voices. And your eyes kind of catch a few words here or there from the man on the side, Corwin, and you see something about strange, slow, interested.
Okay. Cool.
And you head out.
Any expected.
Jasira, you from the other side, you just kind of catch a glimpse across the side, and you see that the captain kind of passes something to the larger, tall individual. You don't quite see what it is, but you see that something was passed before you also follow Roland out. And the large blue orc just kind of closes the door behind you as you all get out there. And Cade, you very quickly see Iz, who kind of catches your attention, and is like, "Oh, good to see you all. Now we can finally get on our way." And you can see that you all are just out in the harbor of, just outside of the city of Elysium. And Iz kind of looks at you, Cade. You know, I have to say, I'm very confused why you all wanted to go to this place in the first place. You've got 2 sailors, and you've never been. You don't know what this place is.
Sindri
In my
just
defense-
yells, "Land!" and starts running off the boat.
Sindri, no, stop!
Stop that rock.
Well, we didn't exactly have a choice. We all pretty much crash landed on the island. And, well, it's been a few years since I've seen anyone dumped off here, so it didn't quite immediately click.
It's a strange place. The whole city just up and vanished, and ever since then, people just stay away from Ellis.
Are we still at the same island?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. Sindri runs to the land and goes,
Realization.
Land! No!
I thought we went somewhere.
But, yeah, we crash landed. Wasn't exactly by choice.
Well, now you know to stay away from Ellis Island. Nothing good goes there.
And you kind of look back a bit confused, and you can see a sign across the edge of the dock where perhaps at one time it said Elysium, but some of the words have faded away, and it just has an E-L-Y and an S that is still there. And you all kind of look as the ship begins to pull out away, and you begin to set sail off on this next path of your journey.
We did get press ganged.
Yeah.
Cool, we're pirates
3
now.
words that I heard on the way out: strange, slow, interested.
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll go ahead and finish it off with a small cap before we take our break. Let's see. Do I have my... No. Okay. Well, I'll get into that then. The secrets of the island would turn out to be dark and violent. And while some would try to stay, the captain's colony would be a failure. And as such, his name would be lost to time. His life was already forfeit due to what he had found, but another story might just carry on a fraction of his legacy. For the island brought him a child, and with a heavy heart he sent this babe out into the unknown seas, away from the darkness of this cursed place. Onwards to a new place, a new life, and hopefully to continue a new story. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be taking a break through the holiday season, and we will be back January 8th. So please tune back in to catch up with the 12 as we embark on some pirate adventures and our party level up to level 4. And we move over to the full use of the new enhancement suite. So getting excited for that. We'll have a few weeks to spin everybody up on all the rules and look over those. And we will see you then.